네, 오늘 먹길도 CD에서 코리안 아메리칸 그 한인의 날 그 프로클레이션이 있습니다. 한인의 날 선서식입니다.
That was the latte baton. 이거 말하는 거죠? 이거.
Oh, good
to see you. Nice to meet you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, yes. Happy New Year.
It's alive now.
A world of possibilities now. It's a blank slate.
아, 그 감사합니다.
It's all good.
No. Oh, okay. Because you have. 이거 맞죠? 네. 오케이. Say hi. Korean community.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. There he is, Jason. Hey, hey, hey. Hello. Good to see you.
Well, that would be nice. I'm like, guys,
안녕하세요. Hi, Michelle. 이거 한번 이렇게요? 이렇게 트라이팟 스탠드 여기까지요?
오케이, 좋아요.
이렇게요?
됐습니다.
좀 더 가까워. 하이트는 괜찮아요?
그냥 편하게 나와요. 라이브 나오고. 안녕하세요. 아유, 반갑습니다. 만족스러워요.
페이스북 라이브 아니면 카메라?
GSK.
그냥 바로 라이브. 민수 한국에서 왔어.
안 나와?
지금 라이브야?
라이브
페이스북 있어요?
페이스북 아니에요. GSK. 유튜브.
Year 13년. 제가 라스베이거스. Yeah. Oh no, this is true.
참석하세요.
이게 뭐야? 한일은 참석해요.
그러면 회장님께 부탁드릴 수 있을까요?
네.
그때 voter registration form 블랭크 폼 있으시죠?
아니요.
투표.
우리 보수?
네. 그날에 정치하시는 분들이 몇 오실 건데 저희 커뮤니티에서 이런 거에 신경 쓴다는 걸 보여드리고 싶거든요. 그래서 그 블랭크 폼을 갖다 주시면 의사는 한 분이 그걸 받아서 거기에 뭐를 레지스터 안 하신 분들 저희 도와드리는 그거를 사람들한테 볼 수 있게.
그것은 뭐냐면 한국말 그냥 다 해줘요. 다시 해줘요.
네네. 네, 용지를 가져오시면 네. 회장님 그러면 그날 용지 가져오시면
그래요.
탭을 하나 맡겨서
해야지.
이분 네.
그냥 그것도 우리가 또 나의 방송 나는 동네 살아가고
여기 스티븐 브라운이에요. 스티븐 브라운. 만나서 반갑습니다. 그러시죠. 시스터 아시죠? 그레이스.
Hey, I have to give you my new number. I don't know if you've called me or whatever. My phone, I can't get to my other phone the last 3 weeks. So I'll give you my new number.
Please.
Yeah.
Dude, do not touch, man. I missed you.
The phone broke, and I haven't been able to.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, here. The screen cracked, and then I was able to, for like a couple days, swipe. And then the lines came, and it's black, and it's just, I can't even make sure.
Make sure I get it.
Yeah.
Did you have a good
Yeah.
years?
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures. Yeah, we'll talk after.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Call to order the January 5th City Council meeting and ask that you stand for the flag salute if you are able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so we are landing off in the state. That is going to be read by Councilmember
We acknowledge the original inhabitants of this area, the Snohomish people, successors, the Tulalip tribes. Since time immemorial, they have hunted, fished, gathered, and taken care of these lands. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. We understand the cultural and historic significance that the city of Mukilteo holds in respect to the signing of the Point Elliott Treaty in 1855. As a city, we commit to being honest about the legacy of colonization and upon our indigenous predecessors, and commit to bringing about a future that includes their people's stories and voices to form a just and fair society.
Thank you very much. I know you look up here and it looks a little light tonight. We're going to fix that right now. We're going to start with, we have a lot of guests for that as well, so we'll take a break after the proclamation so people can get pictures and their families. So just so we're not taking a break, doing proclamation, doing another break, okay? So we will meet at the podium.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Joe Marine,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States
that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Washington,
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially perform and discharge the duties of the office
perform and discharge the duties of the office,
of the city council.
nope, of the mayor.
I'm glad.
That's right. She tried to trick me.
Yes, city council mayor position
The mayor position
for a 4-year term
for a 4-year term
according to the law
according to the law
and to the best of my ability.
and to the best of my ability. Thank you. And then I think, who do you have
Okay,
next?
so next, first one's out of the way. Councilmember Champion, will you please join me at the podium? Okay. I state your name.
I, Bob Champion,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States
that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Washington,
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties of the office
perform and discharge the duties of the office
of the City of Mukilteo Council Position 1
of the City of Mukilteo Council Position 1
for a 4-year term according to the law and to the best of my ability.
for a 4-year term according to the law and the best of my ability.
Congratulations. Councilmember Champion.
Oh.
Yeah, you gotta have a certificate.
Okay, and so here, and we are going to do Councilmember Sturba. Would you please come forward? I state your name. Do solemnly swear
I, James Sturba, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States
that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and the Constitution and laws of the state of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties of office
perform and discharge the duties of office,
of the City of Mukilteo Council Position 2
City of Mukilteo Council Position 2
for a 4-year term
for a 4-year term,
according to the law and the best of my ability.
according to the law and to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations. And Councilmember Don Duran. I state your name.
I, Don Duran,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
That I will
and the
sup-
laws of the United States
will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Washington,
and the Constitution and the laws of the state of Washington,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge the duties of the office
perform and discharge the duties of the office
of the city council position, city of Mukilteo council position 3
of the city of Mukilteo council position number 3
for a 4-year term
for a 4-year term,
according to the law and to the best of my ability.
according to the law and to the best of my abilities.
All right, for the roll this evening, the mayor and all of the council are in attendance. Is there anything on the agenda board from the staff or council? All right, seeing none, we are going to move on. We have 3 proclamations. I will start with National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. Whereas Mukilteo Police Department officers, sergeants, corporals, and detectives protect more than 21,000 city residents and our visitors and business community every day. And whereas our officers stand as leaders in educating the community about public safety, including the proactive work of our crime prevention officer. And whereas Mukilteo police officers regularly connect with our community through programs like Coffee with a Cop and the Community Academy, events for our youth like the Police Youth Academy, as well as the important role of our school resource officer. And whereas the health and safety of all Mukilteo residents is crucial to the happiness, prosperity, and well-being of our community. And whereas the well-being of the city of Mukilteo residents is preserved and enhanced due to the service of our police officers. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Joe Marine, Mayor of the city of Mukilteo, hereby proclaim January 9th, 2026 as National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day in the city of Mukilteo. Encourage our residents to find ways to show your appreciation for our dedicated officers and the sacrifices they make to protect our community.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, January 19th, 2026. Whereas the city of Mukilteo proudly honors the life of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. by commemorating the day of his birth, and whereas Reverend Dr. King's legacy of advocating to reconcile the greatest injustice of that time is felt as strongly now as it was when his life was cut short 57 years ago, and whereas Reverend Dr. King remained committed to his nonviolent tactics even when he faced threats and violence, which sent a stronger message despite these ideals being lofty, and whereas Reverend Dr. King's message of peace continues to serve as a source of inspiration nationwide and across the world, providing each of us with the groundwork needed to pursue harmony for ourselves and each other, and whereas Reverend Dr. King was assassinated on April 4th, 1968, and after 15 years of advocacy, Martin Luther King Jr. Day was signed into law in 1983 and first celebrated as a federal holiday in 1986, but was not officially observed in all 50 states until the year 2000. And whereas Reverend Dr. King's dream and his efforts towards civil and human rights have continued since his tragic assassination in 1968 and will live on in the hearts, minds, and souls of the people of our community, these United States, and the world. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Joe Marine, Mayor of the city of Mukilteo, hereby proclaim January 19th, 2026 as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And I call this observance to the attention of all our residents. May you be inspired to continue the good works of Reverend Dr. King in our community and beyond.
Has our Korean American Day proclamation.
Can I have Theo Moon come up to the front? And Jiyoung-shi, can I have your son come up to the front too? I need some help reading this. Can you come up? Yep. You're dressed really nice too. Nathan, you're going to have to read. You guys come up. So I'm going to have them read a couple lines and I'll read the rest. All right, Theo. I'm going to read this the first time. Actually, yeah, read the first time. Into this mic.
January 13th is nationally recognized as a day to celebrate the contributions of Korean Americans to our society and
there are more than 8.2% of Mukilteo residents
is fitting that we celebrate and honor the Korean American community who are an integral part of our city and have contributed to our rich culture, diversity, economic strength, and proud heritage. Whereas the city of Mukilteo is committed to learning from and working with our Korean American community to remove impediments to success through increasing social inclusion, reducing poverty, ensuring language and healthcare access, and supporting meaningful civic engagement. And whereas the city of Mukilteo welcomes and supports Korean Americans as vital members of our community. Now therefore be resolved that Joe Marine, Mayor of the city of Mukilteo, hereby proclaim January 13th, 2026 as Korean American Day to honor and celebrate the many contributions made by Korean Americans throughout our vibrant community. I encourage other businesses, organizations, public institutions, and community members to recognize Korean American Day and take time to learn about Korean American history in our city.
We're going to take about a 5-minute recess just to give people time if they'd like to get a picture with the proclamation.
Recording stopped.
쟤는 가운데 이렇게. 아이고 참 먼 길 오셨어.
이쪽으로 오세요. Can we take a picture with the 전체 사진 찍으려는데 빨리 좀 나오세요.
일단 시장부터 먼저.
시장이 강에서 먼저 강에서 뭐 이거. 이러면 이쪽.
Okay, that works.
Listen, open your eyes. One, two, open your eyes. And go. 앉으시 보이세요? 얼굴 안 보이죠? Say 1, 2, 3.
어제 통화했어요?
예?
통화했어요? 김진배 회장님과?
아니 못했어요. 제가 지금 저 총영사관하고 지금 통화니 아니 뭐냐 연결하면서 그 뭐지 단체장 간담회 뭐 스케줄 정한 것 때문에 그 멘트
새해 복 많이 받으세요. 회장님 새해 복 많이 받으세요. 아이고 오래간만에 새해 복 많이 받으세요. 아 진짜 방금 오래간만에.
혼자 오신 거예요?
우리 교회 사람들.
그렇구나.
아니 충청 형회장 죽은 거 아니죠? 너 몰랐네. 5번 아 그래요. 갑자기 이러고 갑자기 죽어서 알고 있어. 할게요.
가야지.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Great. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, put that foot out.
네, 김성 회장님 가지 마시고요. 잠깐 메이어하고 같이 사진 찍으시게. 빨리 오세요. 김성 회장님 빨리. 이사장님 빨리. 1초 빨리.
Oh, there we go.
Next Tuesday. Yeah, city council also invites you.
I think we're going back to the
와주셔서 감사합니다. So yeah, we're gonna pick out pick the. Okay. You can use it. I think it's better. I'll save it. You guys. Okay. Yeah. 우리가 화면할 수 있어요. 혜진이 저기 한국말을 연결해서 듣고 있어요. 혜진이 한국말 혜진이 한국말 화면 준비도 안 했어요.
very much at all. I will just try to
For me, I think it's better to stay for whole thing.
So we're going up to council comments. I'm going to start with, I just thinking about how surreal this was. When I started as a brand new council member in January, sworn in 1998, and my mayor was Don Durant. And so we were on the dais way back then in January, and now it's come full circle. And as a brand new minted council member, mayor, so life is just funny like that. But I want to welcome the new council members. Two of you who know the ropes have been here before, and thank you for coming back. And you know that you have a heart for the city. If you're willing to do it, and come back and do it again. So appreciate that. And to Councilmember Sturban, thank you for putting your name in it and being part of a great city. Expecting great things in 2026. Councilmember Moon.
I just want to start by thanking the Korean community for showing up. I just want to recognize my parents and all those of the first generation immigrants that have spent so much time and sacrificed so much. So for example, my parents, they immigrated between 1977 and 1981. And since then, they've worked 70 to 90 hour weeks. And they just recently retired last week. So it's a pretty common story. When you talk to immigrants that have come working many hours, working really hard, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. And I think that's what the heart of Korean American Day is, you know, we have to honor where we came from. But then we also look at our future, like our youth, like the kids that were here. And we have to make sure that they know that they live in a wonderful country, in a wonderful city, the most beautiful city in the world. And that they grow up knowing that they can make a difference. And so thank you so much for coming, and hope you come more often. But I just thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming. And I'm done.
Councilmember Emery.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try and speak louder than I usually do. These two mics are not working well. I just wanted to say a couple of things. One was how pleased I am to see the Korean community come out tonight and recognize their presence in our community, and hope that
we've got George Jarrett.
My name's George Barron. I live a total of 9 blocks outside of the city limits, unfortunately. I've been attending the city council meetings for over 3 years as an advocate for the underwater scuba diving city park. That would be located immediately north of the Silver Cloud Inn and right next to the Noel property. This would be a 100% volunteer-run park. We don't expect anybody in the city to have to get a scuba diving license to be able to work in the park. So it's by definition 100% volunteer. We will mow the lawn regularly. I'd like to apologize for not bringing the box of calendars I had with me. And I packed up my gear this morning. It was one of the things I forgot. I will bring them to the next meeting. I'd like to thank the city for trimming the trees that are located between the Silver Cloud Inn and the Noel property. It makes it a lot easier to use those 2 parking places for getting in and out of your gear. And I would like to say to compliment the city for painting over the graffiti that ended up on the stairs. And I saw them there and talked to them this morning, and it's very much appreciated that they've taken care of it. It was a pretty blue color, but it doesn't go well. We currently have about 5,000 dives a year at the T-Dock. Edmonds suggests they get 25,000. I'm going to be a little bit more conservative than that. When a diver completes a dive, they want 2 things. They want a restroom and food. Between parking fees and purchasing meals, we add about $200,000 to the city of Mukilteo every year. And yes, we dive year round. And yes, I dove before I got here today. Had a wonderful dive, got a couple of good dives in. And yes, I smell like neoprene and salt water. Thank you.
Sharon Demo.
Thank you. Sharon Dam off Mukilteo. Happy New Year to everyone, and congratulations and thank you to the mayor and the new members of our council, and thank you also to the continuing members of the council. I know what a significant time commitment you all make, and I appreciate that. I am once again here to praise our wonderful country, which has been an enormous force for good in the world. We should express gratitude for America at civic meetings, especially now as we embark on the year of our 250th anniversary. Not ritually read a statement that is part of a broad movement to indoctrinate people into thinking America is bad, when in fact, America has brought liberty and prosperity to millions. The land statement is not city business. It is a divisive political statement and thus not appropriate for city council meetings. There are many things from America's history we could cite at council meetings, most of them good, a few bad, but the point is that they are not city business. And so by council's own rules should not be on the agenda, especially not one item over and over. The fact that the previous council chose to read an item intended to disparage our country is especially bad. As we see from the example of court cases in Canada, there can be significant unintended consequences from the ritual reading of land statements. Namely, public lands have been ordered to be turned over to the First Nations, and private lands are at risk also. I have spoken to council before about the multiple cases, the Cowichan case in Richmond, BC, other cases in New Brunswick and Quebec, but if any new council members would like that info, I'm happy to provide it. A quote from the Winnipeg Sun is worth repeating. Quote, across Canada, land acknowledgements have become routine. They're read at schools, city council meetings, concerts, and even hockey games. They are presented as a gesture of respect, not politics. But as we've seen in recent court decisions and local developments, that claim no longer holds up. Land acknowledgements are political by nature and by consequence. I recognize that's Canada, but let's look at how the Tulalip tribes interpret land statements. The Tulalip website says, a land acknowledgement is how people show an awareness of indigenous presence and land rights in everyday life. That's saying jurisdictions that read land statements are recognizing the tribe's rights to the land. As I keep saying, the Mukilteo land statement is part of a broad movement, not a standalone thing. It could have significant unintended consequences on top of the division it is already causing. We ought to stop reading it and instead read a proclamation once a year, honoring our tribal neighbors and offering them respect and good wishes, the same as we do with all other proclamations. We are coming up on the anniversary of the signing of the Treaty of Point Elliott on January 22nd. That occasion would be an excellent time to switch to a proclamation once a year and stop reading the divisive and risky land statement at every meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Emma. And on the line, we have Elaine Knapp.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and welcome new, returning, and current council members. I think I got everybody in that one. I'd like to comment about a totem, not the Native American carved beauties down at Lighthouse Park. I'm referring to the one that is in the same grassy patch where the town Christmas tree is, identified as Totem Park in the PROSA plan. What happened to this totem? It looks almost like it's been burned. The Mukilteo Historical Society Winter Newsline 2015 tells the totem story, and thank heaven for that society for being the keepers of our story. It's a one-page article. There were two totems down there, neither of them native carved. The first was carved by a Boy Scout pack and presented to the city. I'm not sure what happened to that one. The one in question was carved by John Evavold, a non-native carver. The 21-foot pole includes carvings of a bald eagle, the first Roseville School, the old Mukilteo store, the Clint Hotel, the old Presbyterian and Catholic churches, and the Mukilteo Lighthouse. Also, the Mukilteo Ferry, a gill netter boat, a sailboat, and 3 orcas. What a coincidence, the contemporary totem down at the park has 3 orcas. This totem tells a story about our city. The pole was given to the city of Mukilteo by the Walbaum family in memory of Dr. Walbaum's parents and was dedicated on February 1st, 1992. Mr. Evavold took 17 months to carve it. It's red cedar and the picture of it in the article is beautiful. I don't know why it has been left to the weather with little or no upkeep. Did something happen? I don't recall, but maybe the city could consider restoring it. Maybe it could go to a more protected space, maybe near Rose Hill or even up to Midtown. If it ever becomes more than a possibility, I hope that the mayor will contact the Tulalip board chair, Terry Gobin, and the Tulalip master carvers to ask their thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Knapp. All right, is there anybody else online who will? Yes, hold up.
Mukilteo. First of all, Happy New Year and welcome to new and returning council members and the mayor. In light of the proclamation for Korean Day, I would like to make you all, especially in the audience, aware that the DEI Commission, of which I am the chair, will be hosting our first Mukilteo Lunar New Year celebration next month on February 12th from 5 to 8 at Rose Hill. It will be in the Point Elliott room and throughout Rose Hill, and it is sponsored. We have a great partnership with the Korean Community Service Center. I know that several of the council members will be there speaking. Hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn, looking at one in particular, but we really hope to bring out the community and show off one of our biggest events that we as a DEI Commission will be hosting. So it is not just for the Korean community, it is for the entire Mukilteo and surrounding communities. So we're really super excited to host that. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hello, my name is Sam Sim, the chair of Greater Seattle Korean Association, and on behalf of Mukilteo Council, Mayor Marine, Councilmember Jason, thank you so much for your proclamations. Martin Luther King, first responders, and Korean Day is greatly appreciated across the board. Very much like Jason, speaking from a Korean American perspective, and many times, Jason, maybe you can relate, but there are times where we never really felt like we're a part of this world. and we never really felt like we were part of this world either. We were somewhere in between. We were kind of outcasts in a way. But we turned that into a positive. We turned the oppression that we received and experienced into a positive. Why? Because out of this oppression and out of this struggle to have recognition and our identity as to who we really are, we developed two hearts. We have a love for our country, United States of America, and we have a love for our homeland country, South Korea. And so I encourage all of us here. Mukilteo is definitely, the city of Mukilteo. I want to thank, again, the council and the citizens here, the great citizens of Mukilteo. I encourage us all tonight to leverage our two hearts, and so that Jason and I and others here can be the bridge, because we understand both sides, to ultimately seek understanding. And is that not why we're all here tonight, is greater understanding. And when we understand, and when we start to understand, and we understand other people, and have empathy for where they're coming from and where they're at, then our prejudices, our hate begins to melt away. It starts with understanding, so leverage our partnerships. Thank you.
I saw a hand all the way in the back.
I'm Ann Windsor, vegetarian worker.
Just to see.
Just, oh, Mukilteo, sorry. Welcome to the new council members, and thank you for letting me speak. I appreciate the fact that there's so many opportunities to speak to the council. When I go to the school board meetings, you're given one moment and time throughout the entire meeting, so I really appreciate these opportunities to share. I'd like to thank you very much for reading the land acknowledgement. I think you stated it very well, the importance of hearing all voices in our community, and I see that that's what the land acknowledgement is about. It's also about educating all of our citizens in our community. That's a part of what I think your job is in this community, is to set an example about educating and making sure that you're including all of your citizens in your community. So thank you very much for doing the land acknowledgement every time.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room like to address the council? All right. We'll move on with our agenda. We have 4 items on the consent agenda. Does any council member have a question or need to pull an item? Seeing none, we will move the consent agenda as presented, which will start with our first business item, the election of council president and vice president. Or we discuss that one. Yeah, I guess we'll do it. All right, so what we're gonna do, that I think the more efficient way is we're gonna start with the president position, and we will accept nominations, just, of course, and I assume they went over with you guys how to use the press to talk. Okay, perfect, everybody's perfect. All right, so what we're gonna do is ask for nominations for the president, and as many as we get, then we will take those in order, and voting after we allow them to speak for 1 minute. Councilmember Emmer.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to nominate Council Vice President Moon as Council President.
All right, so we have a nomination for Council President Moon. I don't believe that requires a second. So, Councilmember Dixon.
I'd like to nominate Councilmember Champion for president.
All right. Is there any other nominations? Nominations on president? All right. So what we will do is, Councilmember Moon, if you would like to.
Yeah, last year as council vice president, it was a learning experience. Going and meeting with the mayor, the executive office, and other council members. I learned well from Council President Tom Jordahl. He was a good example, and I hope that I get him to continue what he has started. I think the most important thing is to be a bridge between the council and the executive office, and Joe. And I think my relationship with the council and the mayor shall prove to equal lots of collaboration and lots of laughs and hopefully lots of food too. Because you know what, like Sam said, for me, the more you eat together, the more happy you are. And I think if that's possible, I'm going to make that happen. But I'd be honored to serve as president, and I will make sure that service comes before anything else.
Dixon, I'm honored and thankful that you would nominate me, and I'm surprised, but I cannot accept your offer. I appreciate that. I would actually back Council Vice President Moon to step up to the next level. And given his statements, hopefully he's going to share this food with more than just the mayor. But I'd be actually honored to have him serve as president. But thank you very much.
Jason's.
All right, well that, I don't believe we need to vote. We only have one nomination, so congratulations to the president. I'm assuming we will just let him sit right there. All right.
Unless I can sit over.
We're opening nominations for council vice president. Council President Moon.
I would like to nominate Richard Emery for vice president.
Council Member Emery. Any other nominations for council vice president? Any other nominations? Seeing none, congratulations.
Yes.
Also in the right seat. It's almost like you're president. All right, we are going to move to the committees, mayor and council committee assignments. You can find that under item number 6. Council.
I don't know if you need to say anything, Mayor. These, we've included as part of your package for the council's benefit, the list of the various council assignments. We've shown for who filled those roles in 2025, left a blank spot for 2026 for note taking, and then there are some details about each of those assignments. So, be happy to help with any questions you might have, but otherwise it's up to the council to sort this out.
Perfect, thank you very much, Steve. I assume what we would do is, the list you have in front of you, we just kind of start at the top and go right on down the line. So we start with Community Support Grant Committee. We currently have Councilmember Harris, Councilor Votto, Councilor Schmaltz, obviously Harris and Schmaltz are gone. So the first question I would have is, Councilmember Votto, do you have an interest in staying on that committee?
I do.
Okay, so we would be looking for 2 or 3. Let's see, she would like to stay, that's it's up to the council. Is there anybody who would like to be on the community support grant committee? For really the benefit of our new council members, we may want to, because it just says they need quarter 1 and 4. Basically, what the community support grant committee does is there is money set aside that people can apply for, usually nonprofits, and the council goes through that as part of that committee, and they choose those, and it comes back for the council for a full vote. So it's really only meeting twice a year. So it's pretty easy, but tough committee because you've got to say no to somebody. That's what makes it much harder. Anybody with an interest in the committee support grant committee? Councilor Dixon.
Sure, I'll do it. I think I did 2 years ago, but I'd be happy to.
Okay. All right. So is there anybody else? There needs to be 3. Yes. So we need 1 more council member Sturba. Okay. Okay. So we've got our 3. Is there anybody else that really is the one you wanted? All right. Otherwise, we're going to move on. All right. Lodging Tax Advisory Committee. We currently have Councilmember Schmaltz, who's obviously can't stay on that, and then Council President Boone was the alternate. Council President Boone, did you want to stay with the alternate? Do you have a desire to move to the regular or not be on it at all?
Alternate.
Okay, so you're fine with staying an alternate.
Mayor, this one we just need 1 because this appointment acts as the chair of the committee. You might remember we have 3 generators and 3 users of the funds, and the council member serves as the chair.
Okay. Is there anybody who has a desire to be on this? Councilor Boone, Council President Boone said he was not as, Councilor Vaughn. Okay. It is kind of nice, they sort of go somewhat hand in hand with the community support grant. So that's, and we, and maybe as a alternate, just to make case she could make it, so it's good. Co-sponsorship grant committee, and that's the committee that designates basically time in mainly at Rosehill Community Center, but it can be at Lighthouse Park and other places as well. We currently have Councilmember Harris and Vago. Obviously, Harris not be on it. Councilmember Vago, you wish to? Are you happy on that?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Councilmember Emery. Co-sponsorship. Okay. All right. Is there any other council member who has a desire on co-sponsorship? All right. Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Commission liaison. It's Councilmember Harris with Schmaltz as alternate, so those are both gone, so we definitely need one alternate. Councilmember Dixon?
I'll be happy to volunteer.
Okay. Councilmember Emery?
Just do this in two with, if we need to.
All right. I'll be helping.
Okay, so we have Emery and Dixon as the alternate. Has anybody else an interest before we? Okay, we will move to the Historic Preservation Commission liaison. This is Councilmember Schmaltz will take them up. Is there, I don't think anything is scheduled or even planned. This is probably one of the easiest ones to be on, because they may or may not meet in 2026. So, you'd like your name on something without too much work. Council, this may be the one for you. It's an important commission. It's just that they're not called on a lot. That's, I don't mean to invite them to the commission, it's just they don't meet a lot. Okay, and so we will need somebody on there. This should be low-hanging. Council member Emery.
I'll be the
Commission liaison. Perfect. Thank you, Councilmember Emery. Long Range Financial Planning Committee. We have, well, Councilmember Jordan Aldrich will be off, and Councilmember Emily Vago. I assume both of you would like to stay on? Okay, so we are Long Range Financial Planning Committee. We also entered, this is an interesting one, because we also have Councilmember Duran, who was on there as a citizen, and we have one of our council members who is now a citizen, and they both had an interest in just basically trading positions. So is there anybody interested in being on Long Range Financial Planning Committee? Okay. Duran, is
I
there?
don't want to take this spot if somebody else wants.
Is there? Anybody else who had an interest? Okay. Maybe we haven't had to vote on much yet. Park and Arts Commission liaison is currently Councilmember Vago. And if you have an interest, stay on the Park and Arts Commission. Is there anybody else interested? Park and Arts, okay. Planning Commission liaison is Councilmember Emery with Dixon as the alternate, or Councilmember to the
That would be the alternate.
Okay, all right, so it'll be, planning commission liaison will be Dixon with Duran as the alternate. Okay. Council President Moon. Okay, Youth Advisory Committee, Council President Moon. And you, by the way, Council President Moon is currently there, Jordan is the alternate.
Yes. Hi, nice, I see you in the very back. So, yeah, so what we've been doing is the Youth Advisory Council, they've been coming to trying to come to every single meeting. So what they do is they come to our meetings, they take notes, and they report back every month. And so, love seeing our youth support us. I'd love to stay in this position. That's awesome.
Is there anybody who would like to smash his dream? You would like an alternate. Somebody would like to be the alternate to Council President Moon for the Youth Advisory. Council Member Sturba. Okay. Now, we have outside, that is all of our committees internally. We have outside boards. We have the Alliance for Housing Affordability with Councilmember Harris, obviously cannot continue. Councilmember Dixon is the alternate. Councilmember Dixon, you I assume you'd like to be moved up to the.
Yes, I would.
Okay. Is there somebody who has an interest in being the alternate to the Housing Alliance? You'll have to make every meeting. Alliance for Housing Affordability. Community Transit Board representative. Currently, I'm in that position. This is an interesting one because it literally just meets the first meeting in January to be with the others. There's 9 representatives on the Community Transit Board. Used to be 3 of those were medium cities represented. We're down to 2. I've been one of those represented. What we do is we send somebody from our city to represent medium cities to decide which 2 people are going to take the position on the board. Obviously, I'd like it to be me because I'm on the board, because I can guarantee you if somebody else goes, they're not going to put you on the board because other cities they'll go anyway. So if we would like representation on community transit, I would recommend leaving me on that position. With that said, does anybody have an interest? Okay. The Painfield Airport Commission liaison, we have Councilmember Emery and Jordan too. Now this is an interesting one as well. Again, these are, you're not necessarily on the board. You are a liaison. You, at most, when I was on it, you listen to the meetings. I don't even remember having the ability to talk. It's, maybe during comment, but you're not part of the board. So it's really more of a listening for the city to kind of pay attention to what's going on. So we have Emery and Jordan on there now. We'll be taking Jordan off. Councilmember Emery, are you still good to attend those?
I can, although I couldn't be said if someone else wanted to do it.
Okay.
But I'll speak at once.
And this is Painfield on CTAC, so it's close. So, council members, you're about.
I'm interested now.
You're interested? Okay. Would you like to be his backup? Sure. Okay. Perfect. All right, now we're at Snohomish County tomorrow's steering committee. We have Council President Moon and Harris as the alternate. Council President Moon, is your interest in staying on the SCT? Yes. Yes. Is there anybody who would like to be an alternate? Councilmember Dixon?
If anybody else is interested, I'll defer how we go.
Okay, Champion. And they just kind of morphed that structure, so you might find it interesting. Yes, you're staying. Like I gave a choice there for a second. Is there, Councilmember Emery, do you have a desire to be staying there? Up or stay as alternate? No? Okay. Oh. Well, we may have some, Councilmember Votto.
Yeah, I'd like to take that.
Okay. Would you like to just stay as the alternate? All right, so our last one is a water resource. I don't, usually staff attends that, which they're much better prepared to do that. If somebody would like to be a part of it, you certainly could. But it's a pretty, it's kind of let the professionals handle that. All right, we will leave that one as it is then. That was pretty easy. That was smooth. That's how the year's gonna go. All right. We're gonna move to item number 7, which is a dive park consultant contract. And we have Scott. Thank you, Council.
Good evening, Council. I'm here to discuss the proposed contract for consultant services with Influence Environmental Consulting for assistance establishing Mukilteo Dive Park. I can start with a kind of quick history. Establishing a dive park was a priority of council in 2025. We met twice in work session to discuss the project in April and September. And after the September meeting, the kind of direction of staff was to, we kind of reached the end of what staff could do in researching it. And so the next step was to get consultant assistance to move the project forward. The major task in establishing a dive park would be, kind of the largest piece would be getting a lease agreement with the Department of Natural Resources. That's kind of the main almost permit that you need to do in order to legally establish the park. And so that process is fairly technical. Staff was talking to Martin Natural Resources about it. Kind of have a rough idea of how that application process will go, but it definitely would require some studies and things done by consultants. You could not do in-house. It's all fairly specialized. Following that September work session meeting, staff posted an RFQ. We did get 2 responses. We interviewed both responding consultant groups. Actually, both great candidates, honestly. Either one would have done a great job, but we did select Confluence. Confluence is one of our on-call firms that we use for critical area studies and some other things. So we are familiar with them. They gave a range of costs, with $74,500 being the high end. The proposed contract would be $64,500 with a $10,000 management reserve to kind of cover that spread in their estimates. That contract is hour, so it's as the consultant uses time or uses any of their resources, we charge for it. It's not a flat rate contract. But we work with them to keep them within that estimate, and we could not exceed the contract approved by council without coming back to you. In the packet, I've given you a copy of that draft contract. Not much change from our standard contract. Does include the rates. We review those seem in line with the industry. I also wanted to make sure council was aware of both the board's comment letter, which is included in the packet. We also should have received, we did receive some resident comments on the matter that was sent out to the council, I believe, today, or possibly this weekend. So there were a few comments. I'm happy to answer any questions about concerns raised in the comments. I know some of you weren't here for some of the work sessions. I can definitely go back and talk a little bit more in depth about the project and summarize some of those previous meetings if that's helpful. Of course, just answer any questions about the project or how it moves forward.
Thank you, Director Kaluska. Any questions? Councilmember Emery.
Thank you. I only have one question, which is that concern raised by the report about the distance between the boundaries of the dive park and the pier. Has that been resolved, or what do you think? If not,
Property line as it extends out into the water would be, which is the extent of the dive park. The port has, in their comment letter, mentions a few different standards for the distance given. Yeah, there is still that issue about the dive park would impact the neighboring properties. I do think that if council approves this contract to move ahead, I'm not an expert at diving, I'm not sure if that's a good way to move forward. That would take, that's something the consultant could possibly help us with if that is a reasonable way to move forward with that. But I mean, those are definitely concerns, and we're working on a response to the board's comment letter after they're partner with us on the waterfront, so it's something that we can address.
my reading of that issue of concern is that there doesn't seem to be a definitive definition of what an appropriate limit is. Is that yours as well?
An appropriate distance
between boats and divers?
No, I mean, I think the numbers, there's examples they give, the state law for distance from vessels to divers, I mean, those seem like fair distances. I think the reality is a 200-foot setback, and I think this is something we presented at the September work session. 200 feet is taking up quite a bit of the beach on the Silver Club property. So if that's the case, if we dive into the 200 feet of that beach,
that would be a big bite out of the available area.
Yeah, and especially the beach area, because there will be access to the water if as soon as you go into the water, you're going to lose 200 feet of the, especially in different tide conditions. It eats up most of the beach area. So.
Well, again, I didn't read that there was necessarily a definitive definition. I know that 200 feet was recommended or is listed in some place, but I think I read there's other metrics that might apply.
Yeah, and that's something, again, with a consultant on board who's more specialized in this area, that's something they can work forward and see if there are solutions to that issue. But I mean, it is a simple fact that, that is the location of the pier, and this is where the dive community has been diving in the past. So there would be an impact of dive park on the other properties down there.
Well, we'll look forward to movement or at least some updates on that issue.
Council President Moon.
Thank you. I think what we have to remember is the origins of the dive park and why we wanted the dive park. Safety, right? It was all about safety. We want to protect the divers that are coming in and out. We want to make sure there aren't any motorized vehicles, kayaks, whatever that might be, to protect the scuba divers as they come in and out. Secondly is to protect the marine life that's down there. And so if you think about those things, I think you get a better picture. I think when people are thinking, oh, it's a dive park, you start to imagine all these different things. But I mean, those two things are our focus, is to protect the people that are propellers especially, and at the same time protect the marine life that's down there. And so if you take those things into consideration, I think the dive park is less scary. And that one example about the tank exploding, that is so rare. It's more rare than being struck by lightning. It's really human error. And if you do research, I think George would probably tell you as well, this tanks exploding it's not common at all.
Councilmember Dixon.
Yeah, a couple of quick questions. The process survey, where we cited the level of interest by residents in having a dive park, that was fairly low, although there was strong non-resident interest in having a dive park. Is that correct?
Yeah, my memory of that was there was quite a bit of rated highly with non-residents and less highly with residents.
Yeah, and I think it was particularly low for non-residents. The other thing is, I remember, I believe even some of the folks from the Mukilteo Youth Advisory Committee came and asked for prioritization of parks, particularly the Harbor Point Village Park. That was interesting to me. Was that cited? Or how would you characterize the process survey level of interest by residents in additional local parks relative to the dive park? I think it was higher for residents, not for non-residents, but for residents participating in the survey.
I don't recall. I would say the general tenor of the response from the survey with residents like the parks they had and wanted them to be improved on. But I don't recall where additional parks or like the.
And then the last question I had was for you on the original waterfront plan. I never really understood how it was the dive park, potential dive park, moved to the current proposed location in front of the inn, where I thought it was supposed to be originally over by Edgewater Beach. Was that correct?
In the waterfront master plan, there's several locations which diving is listed as in use. The reason this is being proposed was this is the location that was discussed. I think it was originally raised by George Barron and then the council when they were talking about priorities. That was we presented that as a location. I didn't hear a suggestion to look at alternate locations.
Would you say that was correct though? The plan did actually contemplate it elsewhere?
In the waterfront master plan, which is kind of a high-level vision document, there are several locations on the beach which the diving is listed as use. But again, that's a fairly high-level document. And then my 2 cents on the location is if people are diving there now, there's something attracting there. And that's underwater, you see that I'm not a diver, I don't know exactly the geography or the bathymetry of the ground. Those are the reasons why people dive there. So I don't know if moving to another location would be successful. I don't know where the location things out in the water are.
Councilmember Durant.
I noted in the consultant contract that there is an element.
There is a way to survey underwater, and that's what they have a team of divers as part of the team.